Welcome to another episode of Come to Work With Me. I'm Audrey. Today we're chatting with Frank, but before we get started and before we learn all about a very cool industry that I don't know much about, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we all meet from today, and we would like to pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. And now I would like to welcome Frank. Frank, welcome. Tell us, what do you do and who are you?
I'm Frank. I'm a parts interpreter for Maxi Parts. So essentially a parts interpreter's role is to be given information by a customer, whether that's a picture, part number, or a description really. And you got to supply them that part really. I've tried to get better at explaining what a parts interpreter over the years, but I don't think I have. But yeah, that's what it is. It's you identify a part, supply the part.
Yeah, awesome. Why do you think more young people haven't heard of this career as an option? Is it not something?
Because it's not really in the spotlight much. Like you hear of mechanics, but mechanics got to get their parts, so they come to a parts interpreter. There's anything that has moving parts or in the mechanical industry that needs replacing. Someone needs to replace it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess what would a day in your life look like? So you've mentioned, about, you get a message from someone, you need a part, you find a part, deliver a part, but it doesn't seem like it's just that simple.
No, depending on what I've planned the day before, my day can change. But a typical day would be, come in, like any other job, come in, start your emails up, see what needs taken care of, see what the reps are up to, the sales reps, following up jobs from the previous day, making sure drivers got their runs organised. Make sure the counter's all nice and clean for the customers to come in. That's pretty much it.
Gotta love that. Do how did you end up in this career? Did you sort of fall in this industry? Were you always planning on heading down? Like what was your journey? And
so in VCA I did a pre-apprenticeship in mechanics. That was done through my school.
Mm-hmm.
So I completed that. I like TAFE a lot. It's delivered differently to say school, where they treat you like an adult, say at TAFE. So I quite enjoyed that. So I got to do, work placement. And that was my first time seeing a parts interpreter, because we would have to go to a window, they'll give us the parts. No. So after completing that in VCA, I tried to look for a mechanic apprenticeship. I wasn't very successful, so I just went into the workforce. I worked in a timber yard. I installed fiber cables. I did a warehousing course at TAFE as well. And in between jobs, this apprenticeship was advertised. I remember getting a call from Dave at AI Group. You could probably hear the hesitation in my voice when I answered the phone. He's like, come down to St Kilda for an interview. And I was thinking at that time, it's a long way to go just to be rejected. And then he said, do you want the job or not? And I thought, yeah, I do. So I went in, spoke to Dave, organised the interview with the branch manager at the time, Brian, and went to see Brian. I started probably 2 weeks later, after Anzac Day, and from there it's just been go.
That's a good turnaround, quick turnaround, straight into working. I love it.
I mean that was a short story, but that was over 7 years or so.
Yeah. Well, I guess I liked how you touched on that TAFE is a great alternate to high school and it's a very different learning environment. What do you think is the best pathway into this career? Would you recommend people to do an apprenticeship or look at different work like you did as a mechanic and as you
Yeah.
did?
So,
Tell us more.
just to give you an example, we've got two apprentices here, both straight out of high school. They come from customer service background, so they bring in those skills, the customer service skills already. Not mechanically minded, like you don't have to be. As long as you want to learn, you'll pick it up, and they have. Like you got Aiden, who worked in a fish and chip shop. Max, I believe, who worked in KFC for a bit, and yeah, come straight into parts interpreting apprenticeship and picking it up on the job. So the resources are available. They're hard to find, but they are available, and the knowledge is in the industry to learn.
No, awesome. So what kind of person do you think would be well suited for a career in your field?
Anyone, really. Anyone. I would say. So anyone could pick it up. I picked it up. Got other guys here who picked it up just as easy as I did, probably even easier. It's just you want to learn. You want to learn. You want to learn what we're selling. It's very interesting, and once you get down to it, like it starts to click.
Yeah, it just happens. It all comes naturally.
It does after a while. So
no, awesome. So I guess what advice would you give your younger self?
Just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, I ended up where I am now, and I would probably stay the same path. Honestly, I mean, you live and learn. So
absolutely, that's I like that. Keep on keeping on. Great. Have you guys when you're in the workshop, when you're at work, does anything crazy ever happen? Do you have any on the job crazy fun stories?
Yeah, you get a few.
Few laughs.
A few laughs. I mean, you got customers coming in, needing parts that are big, on pallets. And they don't necessarily have the room to fit that on their trailer. So you got guys in fridge vans that, have hanging meat, and you need to put parts in there with the hanging meat. They got, packed up, just other stuff in there with it. So you need to move the parts in there to fit, because they need to get going. They got to go to Tassie. They got to go in the state. So
got to play Tetris with the trucks and the
van. You got to make it happen.
Yeah. No, that's great. I think, that would definitely be the fun part. And you just see a little car pull up, and you got a big van. You're like, what are we going to do with this?
Yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's always an alternate to
put all the seats down, leave the boot up a little bit. Now, you were the Apprentice of the Month recently. What are some of the secrets of your success?
Secrets?
How did you get?
There was really no secrets. I was just really keen. I found the TAFE I went to, Kangan TAFE, the teacher. I was his first trailer apprentice. He didn't know much about trailers. He was keen to learn, and I was like, I wanted to teach, really. So I wanted to help out a lot, as much as I could at TAFE. I came to work early. I did what I could here as well, and it was noticed. I suppose that's all you can say. I mean, there was no really secret to success. It's just turn up.
Is there any sort of common misconceptions or myths about the pathway of going through different, career paths, different ways of studying? So like going through TAFE and whatnot to get to where you are now, is there any misconceptions or anything that you want to?
There's different paths available. For example, you have previous branch managers who started in the warehouse, no background in it, just in the warehouse, getting the opportunity, to go inside and do the counter sales. They move themselves up. Our current rep, who's been in the industry, I don't know, 40 years or so, he started working in the warehouse on the counter, and now he's got a pretty big clientele that call on him when they're stuck, because he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
So there's no direct path. It's everyone can find a different way into the industry.
Yeah, of course. Now tell me something for a young girl who left school early to go straight into the workforce.
Yeah.
How would you recommend to young women to also follow a path into mechanics or into your industry? Like what would you, yeah, is it a pretty even playing field?
Yes. So I was employed through an agency, AI Group.
Mhm.
Um, we've so including the two apprentices we have here, we had a previous one. She was through AI Group as well, no longer with us though. Yeah, just I think going through an employment agency is probably the best part. You get the support from them, like I had with AI Group. Like any issues I had, I brought up with them. They're able to sort out. I mean, they're just a phone call away. They always seem to sort out the problems I had at the time. Plus, they got other things available to you. You know, they offer counseling and stuff like that, safety courses. There's a lot available that I wasn't aware that was there, and I took advantage of all of it because it worked for me and still continues to work for me. And I recommend to the apprentices here to take advantage of it as well. But
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely a recruitment company is probably the way to go. It's the way a lot of businesses are going now.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So, you mentioned before that parts of interpreting crosses over with a bunch of different industries. So, what do you mean by that? What are the different kinds of clients
Okay.
you've done interpreting for?
So with parts interpreting, like we do it as a retail.
Mhm.
So we got customers coming to the counter, buy parts on accounts, cash,
Yeah.
take the inquiries by phone, email. There is also above us a wholesale industry,
Cool.
which you don't necessarily deal with a retail base. You deal more with the wholesale customers. So in bulk, that type of stuff. Trailer builders too. So theirs is more specialized to the product that we just sell, whereas the retail we kind of branch out a little bit. Um, and then from then you also got parts interpreters in workshops, mechanic workshops. They need someone to identify the parts correctly and bring them in. So that's also an avenue. That's not necessarily customer facing, but it is the same job. It's booking in parts. It's booking the jobs out to customers, but it's not customer facing. It's another option. It could also lead into purchasing, for example. Actually purchasing in the products and for the guys to sell. That's not customer facing either. Purchasing, you still deal with suppliers, but you're the customer in that
Yeah.
end. So you still got to have that relationship with your suppliers.
I think
Um,
that's a role I'd be good at, shopping. I
yes, sure.
I could
You're
definitely
shopping. You're spending someone else's
you're spending
money.
someone else's money.
That's
What?
right.
That?
There you go.
Now, what kind of give us another example of the parts that you guys would be interpreting. So you've mentioned mechanics, you mentioned anything for like a moving vehicle. So is it just anything with moving parts or?
So Maxi Parts is one of the Australia's largest suppliers of trailer and truck parts. They bring in their own product called Maxis,
Mhm.
and the Maxis range varies from cleaning products for trucks, truck wash, to axles, rims, that type of stuff. So with the trailer side, yeah, it goes from suspension to axles, even to the braking system.
Yeah, I think I've seen the Maxis brand and logo around on trucks and
You
that.
probably would have seen it.
Probably.
It gets around.
Yeah.
There's, I think, around 25 retail stores across Australia with, I think, 4 wholesales.
Yeah.
We're based here at the National Distribution Centre. We operate a retail at the National Distribution Centre since earlier this year. So it's the Maxis product. It's preferred suppliers of products. Nava. You got like stuff like BPW as well, which is Hendrickson. These are all like, you know, you got American brands of parts as well, and European that we import and bring here to sell on a retail level. So, yeah.
You must have a big memory to remember everything.
It wasn't as good as when I started. It started getting a lot better once things started to click. That took about a year, I would say, when I was doing sales full time, because I originally started in the warehouse. I was in there for 2 years. Once I started to cut my teeth a bit more on the counter and at my desk, that's when stuff started to click. I would always go back to the suppliers because they want to teach you, because teaching us makes the job easier for them.
Absolutely, it does.
Yeah. So learning the product was interesting. Still learning it. You never stop, honestly.
And new stuff constantly comes out, and you have to learn all the new stuff and all the new technology and different bits. It's cool.
Stuff gets made obsolete. It's old. It gets replaced. Parts get replaced. So it's a ever evolving industry.
No, that's great to hear. So thank you so much, Frank, for joining us and for explaining a little bit more and giving us insight on your day-to-day life and industry. I think, as you said, anyone could do this.
I think it is.
Be interested and know about it.
Honestly, I believe that. Like, it is. Yeah. It looks challenging from an outside, but honestly, I think anyone could come in and have a crack.
That's awesome.
Right attitudes, the right way to go about it, honestly. So thank you.
Thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Craig and the AI group, for putting us in touch with you, Frank. It's been great to have that connection there. The AI group provides advice, services, network and advocacy to help members and industries thrive. Thank you again for helping us out with that, Craig, and introducing us to Frank. It's awesome. We will see you guys next time. Have a great day.